Okay, hello everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to our another session of FDA Warning Letter Part 2. In this particular session, we are going to discuss about case studies, very interesting case studies we have seen recently. And we first of all would like to thank you everyone for giving such a response for part one of this entire webinar series, and then that's the reason we are coming up with the part two of this session. Uh, at Zenovel, we have always given importance to quality and compliance, and we are very much happy to bring this awareness among industry players about how quality and compliance matters. So, along with me today to give more information about certain case studies, we have Mr. Ketal, who is going to be the main speaker throughout this webinar. So, welcome back, Ketal.
Thank you, Rakesh bhai. Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is 𝗥𝗲𝗴𝗶𝗆. I am working as an associate director for the GXP services at Zenovel. I am having more than 20 years of experience in the field of preclinical research, clinical research, and analytical services. So, in these years, I work with many big pharma companies and CROs, and I face many FDA and other regulatory inspections, understand their review process, and answer their questions. So today we are going to discuss about the few case studies for not only for the clinical sites, also for the GMP and preclinical CROs. So as we know that in the previous webinar we discussed about the FDA warning letters, their strategy to give the observations and how to resolve their queries, and also we have seen the format for the response to the FDA. So let's, without wasting time, we'll start with the first case study. So this first case study is for the manufacturing site, well-known manufacturing site. Uh, this site was submitted many ANDAs and NDAs to the different regulatory. So while observation, while audit from the US FDA, US FDA found many violations during their audit. So let's discuss the violations step by step. So first, while by changing the formulation, cleaning log was falsified. It means that people in the facility and only sign of that particular person was found in the logs. So it means they haven't done this cleaning validation, and there is a like this is found of the one formulation in another formulation, which is a major violation. Even reviewing the data, raw data with respect to the audit trials, system audit trials, they were not matching with each other. It means data also falsified. So this was not the first case. Previous audit by the FDA, they found similar kind of observations, and they have given many major observations to the facility. But same kind of observations, even with the more frequency found during this audit. The response from the facility. So, upon getting the major observations, violations from the FDA, facility performed their uh, root cause analysis and followed by the corrective and preventive action plan. So, they responded FDA by changing some SOPs related to the good manufacturing processes, even for the good documentation practices. Even they have implemented by withdrawing the certain ANDAs, uh, and then they have claimed investigation revealed that error due to the employees sign off because of they work remotely, and they have revised the SOP for mandate on-site verification for the signature. The submitted response was reviewed by the FDA, and they have again responded to the facility. And this response deemed insufficient by the FDA for their corrective actions, and they have placed the import alert on the drug imports, and it impacts 30 generic drugs that cannot be sold in the market. So by seeing this case study, we can found there is a three major problems. First is that quality management system. The second is training, and third is management. So here, after getting previous observations from the US FDA, management doesn't participate in quality management system. They doesn't improve the quality management system, and also they haven't provided training to the staff for the good documentation practices as well as the good manufacturing practices. So because of this, they face such kind of import alert, and ultimately they lose their revenue by stopping their product in the market for the three ANDAs.
Thank you so much, Ketal, for giving valuable insight about the case at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And here we comes with another case study, which is again very important case studies we have seen and witnessed at Synapse Labs. Uh, Everyone knows about this case where FDA has found significant anomalies in bioanalytical and clinical data. So, that was a strong suggestive of, falsification of data. And, that was the main observation from FDA, right? So now how Synapse responded to those observations? First of all, they acknowledge these anomalies, right? And overlapping concentration profile. So that was their acceptance. However, they argued that these anomalies is a physiological anomalies, variabilities because of physiological factors. On the top of this, they also conducted multiple statistical reanalysis, excluding those suspected or anomalous subjects from the calculation, and they tried to show that it is showing the bioequivalence. Means there is no issue with the bioequivalence when we exclude those subjects from the calculation. So that was their response. Now, how FDA responded to their responses to the observation given by FDA. So FDA said that Synapse did not resolve the data integrity concern. That was their main concern. They said that Synapse has not provided or adequately addressed what is the root cause for anomalous PK trend. Why there is PK anomalous trend, and they have not given a reason for such large scale falsification. Even they were of strong suggestion that all the sponsors who have done their studies at Synapse, they have to re-perform their study at reliable and trusted CROs, and they also had given recommendation to Synapse that they have to reinvent their system. They have to work on their system to make it better, and to avoid such kind of anomalies in the future. So that was the case of Synapse that everyone is aware and know. Then we come across the similar case recently at Synchron Lab as well, right? Again, everyone knows about this case. This was again a violation of unexplained pharmacokinetic anomalies, like there is a duplication concentration profile. They have found at least 16 subjects which had nearly identical PK curve, and it was strongly suggestive of sample substitution and data duplication. Uh, there was a missing explanation why the documentation, right? When FDA came for inspection, they found some documents and some notebooks where it was indicative of planned deviation, right? That they found something like they were pairing some subjects and which subjects to be replaced and overlap with which subject profile, right? So that was the main concern identified by FDA during the inspection. So how Synchron reacted to the observations given by FDA? So first of all, Synchron came up with the corrective and preventive plan. They claimed that PK trend could be the natural variability because of physiological characteristics of individual volunteers. And what they did, they revised SOPs related to the concentration values, failure investigation, and survey QC procedures. Right, that was lukewarm, like I would say, very low level response. And then they eliminated the process of informal notebook keepings, right, to avoid such kind of issues. They trained the team with good documentation practice, and remove such informal notebook keeping. That was their main corrective and preventive action part. And then how FDA responded to the corrective and preventive action taken by them. So FDA was of opinion that you have not done any root cause analysis for explaining this overlapping profile. FDA disagreed that there were explaining that this variability is attributed to the physiological factors. So they were of opinion that this is not a physiological variability. Secondly, the persistent concern about data reliability. As explained, they Synchron failed to address multiple studies and for all NDAs and NDAs and the applicants, especially all pharmaceutical companies who have done their studies at Synchron, they were asked to repeat their studies elsewhere in reliable CRO. So, what we come to know from this, that it becomes very imperative for the sponsor to look into the study conduct, whether it is clinical or it is bioanalytical. Studies should be properly oversight by experienced monitors who are not just doing formalities being present, but they look into each and every aspect where there is a possibility of data integrity or such kind of violations, right? When the oversight is done with proper monitoring approach, we could have saved or we could have avoided such issues in these CROs. So in bioanalytical B studies, you can say any hint of data tampering or the poor data governance that prompts a severe regulatory concerns that we have seen, and that forces sponsors to do the re-studies at different CROs, and that is very challenging for them because many cases the dossier already approved, the drug is already in the market. They have to re-perform the study within specified timeline. It's a huge burden on the cost and timeline for the sponsor. So it is very imperative for all the sponsors to take this very seriously and make sure that they identify CRO at the first level, which is reliable, and then they identify the monitoring partner who is independent and doing a right job on the site. So now I would invite Ketan Bhai to go with the case study number 4.
Thank you, Rakesh bhai, for providing us such a very good case studies for the clinical research organization. Another case studies. So it is a case studies of the USA CRO 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗏 corporations. So this is case study for the preclinical study. So here the main violation is the failure of the study director. So during the study, study director didn't take care of the entire part for the accuracy and even the precision of the data. So the study director did not ensure the accurate recording and verification of all experimental data, including unexpected responses. So what was the consequences? Multiple errors were noted in the calculation of the key matrices such as Rho molecular filtration rate was calculated wrongly. Even renal blood flow used in the statistical analysis and final reporting. So these two parameters were very important for the study outcome, and because of the lack of the study director's review, it was not identified during the study, and wrong interpretation given for the entire study. So after getting the observations from the FDA, facility started performing the investigation, and they have prepared the 𝗏𝗏 plan. So based on the 𝗏𝗏 plan, they have responded to the FDA, and they acknowledged their calculation discrepancies and committed to corrective actions. They resolved all the calculation discrepancies as a corrective actions, replaced the study director with the experienced study director as part of preventive actions, and they have revised their SOPs regarding the training and quality systems, and they have implemented 𝗂𝗏 and communicated to the FDA with the evidence. So after receiving the response from the FDA side, they have reviewed the response and they have again responded to the CRO. So FDA reviewed that the implemented corrective actions measures, and they concluded that the violations from the warning letters were adequately addressed, and they have provided closeout letter signing to provide the closure of the compliance concern, and they have given the approval for the further study to be conducted at the CR. So the next case study is for the Clinical Research Center. So during the audit, FDA found the violations regarding the CRF data. They found the falsified CRF data entered the vitals like BP, pulse, and temperature that was never actually measured. So they have vaguely entered all the data without taking actual data for the BP, temperature, and the pulse, which are the very critical parameters. Protocol non-compliance found they have enrolled the subjects not meeting the criteria, and they have failed to stop the prohibited medications, which is serious implication. So after getting the warning letter from the FDA, facility started resolving their concerns, and they have prepared the 𝗂𝗏 plan, and based on the 𝗂𝗏 plan, they have provided response to the FDA. So they have terminated the project principal investigator responsible for the falsification of the data. They have implemented department-wise SOPs, attestation, and the standardization training, and they have provided training to the entire team with the new SOPs. They have initiated continuous internal monitoring and eligibility checklist for the enrollment, and they have reported issues promptly to the sponsors, IRB, and affected subjects. And after reviewing the response, FDA again responded to the facility, and FDA found the response inadequate, citing the lack of documentation for the implemented corrective actions and preventive measures. So the warning letters remained open. The site needed proof of effective implementation. So here it is very important to prepare the 𝗂𝗏 plan effectively. So first we have to check the corrective actions, whether the corrective actions correct the errors that were done in the study. Also the preventive actions, it should be like changing in the SOP or maybe changing the process that can give the assurance that this will not happen in the future. If we fail to provide all these documentations, then there is a chance that a regulator will not give us the clearance for their alert. Next case study is of the one US CRO. So here FDA found the violation that CRO did not conduct the proper root cause investigation before retesting following OS result. So while in the manufacturing side, while performing the QC test, it is very important if we found the reanalysis, it should be governed to the OS results. So without performing OS, if we repeat the particular test, then it will be not considered by the FDA. So even SOP for the OS handling was incomplete, allowed retesting without justifications. So as we know that repeat analysis should be predefined, and after taking proper approval from the authority, we can perform the reanalysis. Even poor electronic data integrity controls were not taken care of. After getting these observations, facilities prepared the 𝗂𝗏 plan. So as per the 𝗂𝗏 plan, they have updated their OOS SOP to enforce the root cause analysis before retesting. FDA found this response is inappropriate response because they have only changed the SOP for the OOS. So it can be like a preventive measure, but they haven't performed any corrective actions, as no retrospective review of the past OOS events was performed, nor were invalidated rules corrected. So again, FDA issued the warning letters to the facility, and company must perform the retrospective reviews, establish in-validation policies, and implement robust electronic data controls to close out the violations. So now we are moving to the other case studies. It is related to the API production facility. So here FDA found the violation about the insufficient release testing for the finished product and APIs. So missing procedure for the cleaning and maintenance of the equipment and stability testing protocols. So here it is very important. We have already seen in the first case study that cleaning procedure and cleaning validation should be performed very critically, because if we not perform the cleaning validation properly, then there is a chance of like cross contamination of the one APR or one formulation to the another formulations. Facility responded to the FDA by changing their SOPs covering release testing, cleaning and stability testing procedures. They conducted quality management system QMS review and added the documentation training, and they have provided training to the entire team. So by only changing of the SOP, it is not adequate response, and FDA found this response insufficient. SOP updates lack risk of assessment, system validation details, and no consultant involvement for the remediation. Warning letter issued and import alert place prohibited product import until the GCMP compliance is verified. FDA recommended hiring a GCMP consultant, conducting internal audits, and affirming full compliance before the re-inspection.
So thank you so much, 𝗥𝗲𝗃𝗏, for giving valuable insight on different case studies. It was really very much helpful. And for this particular session, 𝗥𝗲𝗃𝗏, I would invite your comments on, takeaways, or important, point which you want to share with the audience. That what are the common factors, common patterns, and what do you think, with the expectation of FDA when they come for inspection, or how they expect CRO or the pharmaceutical industry to respond to those observations. So it would be great if you can highlight some.
Thank you, Rakesh bhai. So we have seen many case studies today. So if we see the pattern of the all the case studies, we can see it is about the data falsification, data modification, substituted or alter the biological data triggers immediate rejection of the entire study. So it is very important while performing any study, we have to take care about the uh, data should be handled properly. Even we have to take care of the proper analysis, and we have to perform the repeat with the prior approval, and if it is predefined in the SOP. And the next point is third party oversight. So sponsors are fully responsible even for the CRO data. So while selecting any manufacturing facility or the CRO, a sponsor has to perform a specific audit, pre-qualification audit with the third party auditor, or if the sponsor is having any auditor, they can perform this kind of audit. Even it is very important while performing a study, during the different phases of the study, sponsor has to monitor or audit the particular phase of the study. And if we see the FDA expectations, so if FDA found any anomalies or serious concern during the study, uh, repeat of the study is required. The next is therapeutic equivalence downgrades. So if FDA found any serious violation during their audits, it definitely affect the ANDS, and they are flagged BX until the FDA receive the acceptable new data. So if any study is performed in the CRO under the having BX flag, the particular study is not acceptable to the FDA, and it is not allowed to sell the particular product in the market. The next is kappa and supplier governance. So lab must demonstrate robust corrective actions, including data system validations, audit trials, and training program. So it is overall quality management system So if the quality management is strong and it is supported by the management, then there is a less chance of the observations from the FDA. Even the timeline is matters. So sponsors are often required to respond within a tight deadlines. For example, FDA, we have to respond the query within 13 days with the repair plans. So after getting the observations, it is very important to hire a consultant or a good team to respond the query, to prepare the CAPA plan to respond the FDA. Comprehensive CRO audit. So it is a part of remedies to prevent the BAB warning letters. So first is that we all know that comprehensive CR audits so validate the data system, audit trials, sample integrity, and staff practices before the engagement. So here I want to share one my past experience. So while taking the interview, when I asked one candidate that if one sample of your study that like you missed during the processing, what you will do? So then he responded that I can take like previous samples of that particular subject and the next sample of the particular subject and I mix them and then I do the processing of the particular subject. So here we can identify that the particular CRO that previously he or she worked, there is a no quality system and the person is not even know like what he or she is doing or he is doing the violation. So it is very important to have the quality system, and we have to train our analyst in the proper way that he and she can understand what is the violation and what is the correct practices. The next is data integrity infrastructure. So as a part of 11 compliant LIMS system is required wherever we are using computerized system. It should enforce the role-based access, so no one can access data of the where he or she cannot have the access backup systems and regular data audits. Then it is very important to have the continuous review process with the QC or QA checks. So it should ensure in study replications, randomizations, and data verifications are conducted promptly. So now moving to the key takeaways. The key takeaways are like FDA requires the complete CAPA plan. It should include the SOP, training, traceability, equipment validations while submitting the data to the FDA for their query response. It is also required to provide the evidence of the implementation of the CAPA plan. It is very critical. It should include the clear timeline and responsibilities while giving the response to the FDA. Warning letters are closed only after the re-inspection or documentation review. So we have to not that we have to provide the proper CAPA planning with the documented evidence and inadequate plans is equal to delays and continuous non-compliance.
Thank you once again, 𝗥𝗲𝗃, for giving a brief highlight about different kind of warning letters and step to be taken by CROs and the sponsor. Thank you so much. So now let's make a conclusive remark about center webinar. So how should we conclude? Like I believe that warning letters are a serious indicators of compliance failure, and CROs should have a strong system. They should have a very strong staff training process. They should have proactive audit approach. That they should empower their quality management system, right, to do these proactive audits, internal audits to prevent such kind of issues, right? There should be a timely, transparent, and well documented response systems, right, which is very much critical for the resolution of such issues. So in altogether, when CRO is very much active, right, when they are providing the training to their staff on the quality and compliance aspect, that how seriously it should be taken, we believe that we can get over, we can come out of this such kind of scenarios in the future. So with these, like, we should conclude this webinar, and thank you so much, 𝗥𝗲𝗃, once again, and thank you so much everyone for participating and participating in this